Better shake your booties for black girl nerves. Better shake your booties for black girl nerves.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Vivica, Jussie, for taking the time to speak to Black Girl Nerds about this incredible film, The Last Holiday. I had heard about this when it premiered at ABFF. So I was really excited to learn more about it and to see it. And now after seeing it, I have lots of questions, and I'm really excited to have you guys to chat with me about it today. So thanks so much for taking the time to speak with me.
Thank you for having
very
us.
welcome, darling. Thank you for having us.
So Vivica, I'm going to start with you. Cassandra and Jason, they're brought together through the loss of her son, Damien. And during this time, she spends time with Jason and his daughter, Ariel, and she grows into this very tight-knit relationship with her. So do you think that Cassandra is making up for not being a mother to her son by forming this new bond with Jason's daughter?
Absolutely. The Lost Holiday is a story all about discovery, rejection, acceptance, the journey of family. And families nowadays are defined in so many different ways. And that was really what I loved about the journey of making The Lost Holidays, along with Jussie and Ariel, I mean London, who played the daughter, was discovering all of these different chapters and newness and things that made you uncomfortable. And it was just, it really was, as an actress for me, it was an amazing journey.
It was a very compelling story, and I just love the development that we get with your character and also Jussie's character in the film. But Jussie, I want to talk about, you know, you're directing this, and your name is all over the project. You're director, producer, writer. Did you draw from any personal experiences in your life while crafting the idea for this story? Or were there any experiences that helped inform your work as a director while working on this production?
For sure. Pulling from, what's interesting is that it's such a nuanced story with so many layers for each. I feel like we could do a capsule film for each character, and they would have a completely different experience, because life, let alone grief, is experienced in so many different ways. I lost my father almost 10 years ago. And I lost my father at a time when my life was really changing and shifting. And I actually lost my dad the day that Empire first aired on television. I don't think a lot of people know that. And so the grief that I carried was very real, but it was really drawn from, so grief is what really, really put me in the mind state of wanting to do this film. But also I really pulled from my own mother's experience. And I'll just share a little bit of that because, again, it's her story to tell. But she married a man, my father. She married a man who was not Black. And joining that family wasn't necessarily the easiest thing to do at first. And just seeing the relationship, I see the relationship, honestly, between she and my grandmother, particularly after my father has passed. And they had divorced before he passed, but seeing the way that they have bonded over the years since his passing has really inspired me for the relationship between Jason and Cassandra. And it's something when I did the whole Bible of the film that I was really thinking about. It's something that I was really thinking about when I pitched the idea to Jerrell to come on and write it with me, Jerrell Chesney. And it's something that I'm really proud that we kind of got to tell, because it's never too late. It's never too late for love. There's never too late for forgiveness. There's never too late to make amends for the mistakes that you've made. And I hope that people get from that. So that's definitely what I pulled from. And then putting it into taking out the race element and putting and kind of replacing it with the sexuality element of it. And how would that be difficult? Because I have so many friends and I have so many mentors, particularly mentors that are, 55 and above, and the experiences that they had of losing a partner, or not being able to go into the hospital room, or not being accepted or even acknowledged by your partner's family, and kind of being excommunicated and extracted from that person's life and their legacy, so to speak. And so that was something that was really kind of a way, in my own small way, of trying to pay tribute to those people and what they may have gone through and what they absolutely went through, and being able to show the journey of Cassandra, and how that I truly, truly believe that love, true love, can change people, anybody, change anything. So that's really what, I hope that answered your question, but that's really what I was pulling from.
I love that story. Thank you for sharing that. What was the timeline like between the inception and the idea of putting together this film and to where we are now?
8 years.
Wow.
Yeah, 8 years. I was and it's funny because no lie, I tell this story often now, is that from inception, it was always Viv. It was always Viv. Like in the Bible that I wrote, of the like this 10-page Bible that I wrote of all of the breakdown of the beats, the character was named Viv, not because the character was going to be named Vivica, but because I didn't have a character name yet. Jerrell came up with the character of Cassandra, of the name Cassandra, but I always knew that it had to be Vivica, that she was just made for this. And so 8 years ago, I started developing it myself. And then maybe about 2 years later, I started developing it with a really powerful producer. And then things went sideways, and as things do. And then I picked it back up. After I did B-Boy Blues, it was always on my slate, always on my production slate. But it wasn't until after B-Boy Blues that I was like, okay, so I did this film, super proud of it. I'm in the edit. What is next? And I called Viv and I said, and I had never, it was just in my head. And keep in mind, as I was developing this, I was working with Vivica on Empire. I was able to direct her on Empire. She was still my friend. She was still my auntie. So I would see her, I would talk to her, but I never mentioned it. Because I just didn't want, I feel like she has people coming to her, 24/7, being like, hey, can you look at this? Can you look at that? I didn't want to do anything or approach her with it until it was ready to go. And once we had the script, I called her and I said, hey, I literally can't make this movie without you. And she said, I got you. She said, I got you. And there were peaks and valleys where I was scared that Viv was going to have to or want to say that she was pulling out, but she never did. She stuck with me the entire time. And thank God that she did, because we wouldn't have this amazing piece that we're both proud of.
Oh, that's amazing. And Vivica, I really enjoyed your performance of Cassandra. And Cassandra also comes, into this story, which I love the trajectory of how her thinking and her mindset on, relationships, and even her relationship with her from the past, from her son Damien, and then also with Jason, how that shifts in this film. She comes from a place of ignorance when it comes to understanding her son's sexuality, and then we see that shift in Cassandra's attitude as the story evolves. So does she choose to not understand her son, or does she simply just not know any better?
A combination of both. First of all, she didn't know. She says, all of a sudden, I know my son moved to Atlanta. And I love one of the screenings we have, the audience totally got it. And I kind of went, oh, discovery. But that's how well that the script was written, that it was like those little, nuggets and hints. She didn't know he was gay. She just thought that they were having a strained relationship. And so it was a whole new world to her. So that's why I said it's a story of discovery and rejection and acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
Because then she has all these prejudices, because she comes and not only does she meet his gay husband. But then there's the other couple, they gay to it. It's like she just gets thrown into this whole world. She's like, what is going on? But she finds that they are lovely people. And that's the message that I want everyone to get from this film is we have no right to choose who the other person loves. We just want them to be good people and to be good parents. And that's what the Lost Holiday is all about, is discovering this wonderful family dynamic that happens. It's different, but it's still about family.
Absolutely. And I think also, just to jump on what Viv is saying, is that what we really wanted to do, I can speak personally for myself, is I really wanted the audience to go through the journey through the lens of Cassandra, because Cassandra is actually not, she's made mistakes, but she's not some, like she says, I'm not some crazy country homophobe. Let's get that straight. But in actuality, see, we are not some, we're not some homophobes that are necessarily going to be going out on rallies and picketing against people, but it's these small little minor things that we say that will picket people, or at least small little judgments that are bigger than we really realize. And so really seeing that what she does is she steps into this world that to Jason and his sister and his husband and his best friends and even his daughter, this is their norm. And then how is it that by society standards, Cassandra would be considered the norm? And here she is now, she's the minority in this group of folks and kind of a fish out of water, if you will. But what she sees I could have had this family this entire time, and I missed out. So let me make up for lost time, and that's why at the very end, when my character says, you helped me save my family, and she says, you helped me find mine, that it's so impactful of, we are the same as folks. We are so much, and that is going to be for the rest of my life, God willing, however long I'm allowed to be here, is that my whole mission is to just show people how much more alike we are than not. And if we can understand that, we could stop tripping over so many things.
Facts on top of facts. I mean, I love the fact that you just see this breakdown of the wall that Cassandra has throughout the film, and addressing those personal biases. That's something that's so important in the messaging around this film. Jussie, I also love the dynamic between Jason and Cassandra, because they're complete opposites who are tethered together because of someone that they both lost, that they love. Would you say ultimately what allows the relationship to stick is that they both want to help save one another?
I think that they want to. I think it starts off possibly of being pretty simplistic, of wanting to just, you're in the moment and you just want to do what you have to do. So you're just going through those moments, especially when you're dealing with grief or death. You're working so hard just to do what you got to do. I don't think that they're thinking about each other. I think that they're actually thinking more so about the legacy of Damien, and they're thinking about their own feelings, their grief, and their guilt about what happened between them and Damien, the things that were said or happened or were not said that they'll never have a chance to make up for. In the beginning, I believe that that's how they feel. And I think that in turn, because they share the same grief in different ways, that's how they in turn save each other. So I don't think that it's intentional for them in the beginning, but I do think that that is what ends up happening. And I think that really they're pouring all of themselves into Ariel, because she represents, I would say that she represents the heart of Damien. And I think that's so yes, to answer your question, I don't think in the beginning, but I absolutely think that they end up saving each other.
And I feel like Ariel's kind of like the glue that kind of helps stick them
together. Absolutely. As kids usually are a lot of times, you know what I mean? Kids,
It's a new chapter.
Yeah. And it's a new opportunity for Cassandra to do the things with Ariel that she was not able to do. You see that all the time.
Right,
So you
with
see
her
that so many
son.
times with grandparents, right? You see
Yes.
grandparents being able to kind of make up for the mistakes that they may have made as parents, as grandparents. That's why you always see grandparents and you just like, I'm looking at my mama, I'm like, how my nephew gonna get to say that to me and you ain't gonna check him because that's my baby. Really? So, that's the way it goes.
Yeah, and that's the sense that I got too, is that she's really trying to make up for that lost time that she didn't really get to spend with Damien through this new relationship with Ariel.
Absolutely.
I love that, the way that unfolds into this story.
Thank you.
So Vivica, back to you. I want to ask, actually, I want to ask, I'll start with you, Vivica, but I would love for both of you guys to answer this question. I know this film played at the American Black Film Festival, and you guys have done a lot of press for the film. And it's such an important film about mother-son relationships, fatherhood, LGBTQ representation. What's the feedback that you've gotten from folks since this film was screened publicly?
They loved it. I'll never forget at the film festival, African American Film Festival in Miami, they were laughing, crying. There were people afterwards. There was one gay gentleman that he kind of, this was cathartic for him. He had been through rejection and acceptance with his own family, and he adopted a child. And so the audience embraced it, loved it. They got all the jokes, some of the jokes that I didn't even realize that, like I said, the writing was just so lovely. And, when you first see it yourself, you're nervous because you're watching your performance. You're, remembering days that we were rushing to get moments and some we had to throw out. And just, because I'm also a producer on the film as well, too.
Mm-hmm.
And then I love me some Jussie, and I'm just so proud of him. And he had directed me before, as he said, on Empire. To watch him do double duty, direct and co-star with me, and we had some emotional, we had some heavy scenes. I was just so proud more than anything else. Like now I got a little bit emotional just thinking because we made this film. How many days did we shoot the film in?
11 days.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yes. So it was get in
run.
there, do the work, check your ego at the door. And I felt mission accomplished.
Listen, I love Viv. Viv, you already know how much I love you. Viv came in and on paper, I'm the leader of this, right? But Viv is Vivica. And so everybody wants to, we all want, it was so important for me for her to be happy. It was so important to me that she felt respected and valued as she should be. Not just for the incredible work that she's done, but also for the incredible human being and artist that she is. And so there were times where I was nervous at first because this was such an indie film. You know what I mean? It's such an indie film. And I was like, gosh, she's used to, and I know that Viv is cool as hell, but it's also a thing of she's done like the biggest films. These are big blockbuster films that are not small budgets, Independence Day and Kill Bill and Set It Off and Duke Can Play That Game and all of this type of stuff. And she came in and she treated it exactly as if she was working on a film that was a $50 million budget. And to me, that's a testament to the artist that she is. And I remember somebody one day did not know their lines. And I said, if the legend that is Vivica A. Fox comes in and she knows everything, none of us, because she just shows that no matter how big you get, no matter how successful you are, there is never room for professional. And
Do the
do the
work.
work, do the work. And her preparation and her, the idea of her being a producer was not a vanity title. She watched that film, she gave her notes, I took her notes, okay? And it's
Wait,
funny because
can
she
I
and my
just jump
mom
in real
had
quick?
similar notes.
Real quick. I would also be the one producer on the side, like, we about to lose our day.
Yeah. Yeah. And here's the thing, I want everybody to be happy and I'm moving fast, but she's also like, she's like, nephew. And I always knew when I heard nephew, I'm coming into her room. I'm like, yeah, auntie, what's up? And I know that I'm gonna hear it. But there was no the best thing that Vivica just said is that there was no ego involved for any of us. We wanted to make a heartfelt, important, fun, loving film. And that, I believe, is what we did. And we will forever be grateful to our leading lady, Vivica.
Thank you. And our director as well, too. And our cast and our crew. I mean, we were
incredible.
So blessed that, like, our director of photography had worked with us on Empire.
Yeah, Jody.
And knew our faces and our lighting, and it was really like, you want to work with family, but sometimes working with family don't always work.
Yeah.
So yeah,
it's true. And we just wanted to make I wanted to make a movie. This is what Jody and I talked about. We wanted to make a movie that could sit next to Vivica's other classics and be like, if they were to do a Vivica Fox film anthology of all of her films, that this would be a film that was worthy of being in those great Fox films.
To be honest with you, in closing, this reminded me of Soul Food. It did.
Yeah. It did. Yeah. And multi-generational, and I love that you guys touch on so many different issues and topics and life lessons. There's life lessons to be learned in this. And I wanted to ask, because I love the synergy between even the two of you in this interview. What did you learn? I'll start with you, Vivica. What did you learn about yourself through working on this film? And do you take anything with you when you've had a stellar career, you've worked on so many films and TV shows. Do you take anything with you when you're working on these projects? What do you learn from that?
Well, my heart was really in this one. And that's why I'm just a little emotional, just because I'm so proud of us. We're filmmakers. And I always love the magic of making movies, but to take a film, from a piece of paper to now moving people, to leave them with messages that will always touch them whenever they think of the Lost Holiday, that it will. But I'm just so proud of us, because it's not easy to make a good film. Oh. Trust me, you can go in with the best intentions, the best cast, thinking you got it together, and that's the magic of making a movie. It either works or it doesn't. And this worked. And I'm just so proud of us.
So beautiful.
And this is the beginning of the
village to make a movie.
My damn glasses off, starting top of the day. But I am so proud of us. I really am.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, hats off to you guys. You guys did such an incredible job in this film. And Jussie, for you, this is such a huge accomplishment, directing a feature film. What's next on your radar? Do you see yourself directing more movies?
Yeah, I think that we already have the next two projects, so it's definitely one I'm in and one I'm not in. I think that probably every other film that I direct, I'll have to be in, because I can't do that every single time. Can't do that every single time. God bless you, Bradley Cooper. God bless you, Spike Lee. God bless you, Tyler. I don't know that I can do this, do that every time, because it's just a lot of work on top of producing and finances and everything like that. But we have just an incredible team. I'm so blessed with the team, and from my producing partner Tom Wilson to Mona Scott Young and Tressa Smallwood, and
yes,
just this incredible team. really honestly, not because I'm talking to Black girl nerds either, you know, honestly, I've been so held up by Black women. And I say that all the time, of the fact that I would not, I'm telling y'all, I would not physically be here. Physically, I would not be here if it were not for the love and support and understanding and grace of Black women. And my whole mission is to show how much I love them, you know, and the yeah, so we're just going to keep on doing. The next story is going to be incredible. We're doing another film with James Earl Hardy as well, who wrote the book for B-Boy Blues and wrote the script with me for B-Boy Blues and produced it. He's a producer on this project as well. So yeah, I mean, directing is something that I've always wanted to do, and it's always been on the books, and always been something that, you know, I started in music videos, started directing music videos, just started directing my music videos, and I got into directing other artists. And then I just kept on pitching music videos to the folks at Empire, and they allowed me to direct. That's how I got into the Directors Guild, you know, just all of these things that kept me, and, you know, just building this company, a supermassive movie, to make projects that make people not just feel seen at the moment, but really start conversations and really lead people to be seen, and to be able to see themselves, but also see other people that are not like them, but you can still identify with. You know, I always say this, I grew up loving films like Soul Food, loving films like Steel Magnolias, loving films like, you know, Strangers on a Train by Alfred Hitchcock, you know, The Sound of Music, and Boys in the Hood. Like, all of these films were they were the films that I was raised on. And not one of those films had a gay character. But I identified with those films because I identified with love, I identified with family, I identified with life, I identified with loss, I identify with anger and happiness and joy and all of those things. So what I want to do is I want to create films that speaks to all of us, so that we can all see, again, like I said earlier, just how much alike we are. So yes, I will be directing much more, and writing much more, and producing and producing and producing.
I love it. I definitely want to respect your time and wrap this up. But Jussie, Vivica, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to Black Girl Nerds. This was a beautiful film. I hope more people see it. It's got really important messages, and it's just a fun family film. And you can also watch it with your mom, your kids. You know, it's for everybody, with these beautiful universal themes.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for taking the time. And I'm sorry, Vivica, to make you cry.
Oh, it's okay. I mean, you know, a good old cry every once in a while is just good therapy, you know?
It is.
Know? And they're honestly, these are tears of joy.
Yeah. Yeah. And thank you for what Black Girl Nerds does. I really mean that, because listen, there are so many. My niece is 10 years old, and I know that what you do, and the work that you do, and the way that you present so many different varieties of who we all are, you know what I mean, is so important. And I love the fact that there are places like Black Girl Nerds where she can go and feel and know that she's not an anomaly. You know, that she is someone special and deserves to be celebrated. So thank you equally for what you do.
Oh, I appreciate it.
And keep making it do what it do, okay?
Yes.
I will keep going. Thank you guys so much for this lovely conversation. And I really appreciate your time. And I hope to get to talk to you guys in the future sometime.
Yes,
until next time. We won't say goodbye. We'll say until next time.
Yes.
Until next time. Indeed.
All right, girlfriend.
Nice to see you. All right.
Thank you.
Bye.
Better shake your booties for Black Girl Nerds. Better shake your booties for Black Girl Nerds.